Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to day 4 of the Emerging Mothers Evolution Masterclass. I am so glad you're here. We're just going to wait a couple of seconds for other people to join, and then we're going to just jump in. There are, of course, some tips I'd like to toss and some gems I'd like to drop as it pertains to the 5 no-nos when parenting from a distance. Hello all, I'm Dr. Michelle Lloyd. I'm with Lloyd Learning Labs. We have a private exclusive Facebook page. The name of it is Emerging Mothers. For those of you who have yet to join, we're on, of course, Facebook and Instagram, and I so appreciate you being here. So if you search us up, if you are a mother of a high school junior or senior, we have all types of vids in the Facebook group. We are giving insightful information. There are conversations here and there. There are quotes. You'll want to come in, look around for just a bit, and then share your questions and or your concerns, or DM me if you'd like to have conversation. So I'd like to just go ahead and jump in. Our topic for today here on day 4 of the Emerging Mothers Evolution Masterclass. We will go for 9 days until next week. On the 13th is when we wrap up. And so, of course, I'm flying to Chicago on tomorrow. And, of course, I'll also be videoing from there as well. So, nonetheless, the 5 no-nos when parenting from a distance. So, for you mothers who think that things will still be the same after your teen has transitioned out of the home, you think it's still going to be the exact same when they return back, I think differently. The first no-no, and I'm going to say these in reference to rethink. And the first rethink is to rethink your hovering practices. Now, if your parenting was anything like mine, I and my hubby had jumped in with both feet. And so we were there dropping off, picking up at the games, at school, from when they were in daycare at 6 weeks old. I mean, we were there. Open house, parent-teacher conference, volunteering at the school. We were all over the place. And so you can imagine when our older daughter went off in 2016, and then our second one went off in 2018. We were better when it was 2018, but when it was 2016, there was like a release that happened that really, did we expect it? I'm uncertain if we did. It was like a rubber band stretching and then breaking. It was like one of our heartbeats happened to be outside of our body and walking around 17 driving hours away in Virginia, and we live in Texas. And so did we think that it was going to be the same when she came back? We were uncertain, and guess what? It was different because she had experienced all type of freedom. She had enjoyed herself. Of course, she made the grades, but nonetheless, she had experienced another part of life, and that part of life was without us. And so I would like us, for this point number 1, and this will be a short video on today for our masterclass, but nonetheless, these will be tips that you can bundle up and then carry with you, because I know a number of you, your teens will be transitioning out, and you'll want to already embrace that, to rethink your hovering practices. As a matter of fact, it's almost as like you may even feel as though you're on the back burner of their plans. Will you have the same amount or the same level or the same percentage of control? That will quickly lessen by the doses. And so just wanted to give you a heads up about that. 2, rethink the idea that you will remain on the forefront of their minds and on the forefront of their plans. And you know what? It's almost as though you may even from time to time feel left out. My daughter went off, her conversations, it was interesting because names would enter her conversations when she was talking to me, and these are people I had no idea. These names were foreign to me. And so she was talking about some advice she had received from this person over here, or some advice she had received from this person over there, and I was trying my best to bite my tongue and not say, who are these people? Who in the world have you met? And where did they get that advice? And what does their background even look like? And so what I had to do again was just take a few steps back. I needed to decrease my texting. I needed to decrease my calling. And I needed to allow her to get a feel for what that was like on a college campus without my help. Was that a challenge for me? Absolutely. But for those who have children to yet leave the home, just take this as words of wisdom that these are some of the feelings that may surface. And when they surface, if you'll just embrace them and know that things are changing and that times are different, and acknowledge that feeling. They say when you can name it, you can tame it. So whatever that emotion is, name it, so then you can put a resolution to it. So you can solve that. And I can even go into some ways on how you can solve some of these emotions. But nonetheless, I like to stick to my 5 points. And so that's the second one. Number 1, rethink your hovering processes or your hovering practices, because things will change. They're older. Then secondly, know that there's a chance that you may move more towards the middle or more towards the back of their thought process, because they have profs on the college. They have professors who are giving them advice, and then they have academic advisors. They have friends. Won't those friends undo in 18 minutes what we have poured in and what has been imputed in their spirit in 18 years? Won't those friends undo it? I'm telling you, but we have to remain prayerful. I know that's my secret sauce and how I was able to manage and maneuver and be guided by the Holy Spirit for sure. Then thirdly, listen, let's think through this. Or rather, let's rethink just our rigidity that we practice in our parenting, and let's embrace a little bit more flexibility. That's what I had to do. I had to be just a little bit more flexible, not only with my schedule, but with my thinking. I mean, these ideas or these thoughts, and here it is, raising this teen who is now a young adult. She's 23 now, just graduated last month. But here it is, we have raised her, and we're listening to her, and we're embracing and some of her concepts and her ideas and her logic behind some of the decisions she's made, and we're quite not surprised. We're pleasantly we're just excited about what we're hearing and how she's developed, and just the growing and the excelling that we're experiencing. And so it's interesting how when we listen, all of that upbringing and all of that raising and all of that nurturing and pouring into, really, they're listening. So really acknowledge that and really embrace that. Our teens are actually listening, and they're able to, of course, think for themselves if we just let them. So let's rethink, especially when we're used to jumping in and solving it for them. I'm learning a lot. Because guess what? I'm listening a lot. And I would encourage you, I would inspire you, and I would motivate you, mothers, to please just turn on those listening ears. You'd be surprised at what you hear. So that's number 3. Number 4, rethink the idea of believing that you are doing your teen good by always asking, are you okay? Is everything fine? You look tired. You need this. When we do that, then it seems as though we're adding probably just a little bit more stress on top of what they're already burdened with on the college campus. Are we genuinely concerned about them? Absolutely. However, if they get the notion and the feeling that they're looking some kind of way, especially when they aren't, or if they get some type of notion that there's this extra worry extra stress that you're experiencing, that they continue to feel because you may continue to ask them questions or show some type of worry or concern or stress, then that could actually become burdensome for them. And so I'm just hoping that we can just embrace the idea that they're there and continue to celebrate that, encourage them in what they're doing, and if we can inspire them just to continue to move and soar and excel and spread their wings and fly as we have raised them to do, then that can take a load off. And I have to mention this, I have to admit that some of us encourage our teens to do that. I was in a conversation just the other day with the mother of a teen, and I was sharing with her just some ideas in reference to since I'm in this profession, since I'm in this area, since I've done a little studying, just encouraging her to just try a few things with her teen, just to see if this would help to motivate or this would help to inspire. And I continue to hear, nope, he can't do that, or no, she couldn't do that. And so when I hear that from parents, and I think about how that could be something that's said around their teen, and how that verbiage can go to their conscious and then be delivered down to their subconscious, how they can actually believe that they cannot do something. And that was 3 conversations that I've had with 3 separate mothers, in which, there was the inkling of maybe, something, and this was probably about a month and a half ago, how there was this thought process that I will avoid trying that idea because of this, which in essence, listen, they live up to our expectations. They do. I'm a witness, and I'll share this with you because my oldest daughter, she was uncertain what her major was going to be. And it just happened to be, I went to the school, there was an open house or something was taking place, just in a casual conversation with the teacher. And the teacher said, engineering. That's all the teacher needed to say. And it's only because I believe mine can fly, that I began to pour into that one idea. It was just one conversation. And it probably only took her just 1 second to say that word. Then I began to think through engineering clubs and engineering associations, engineering coding classes, engineering summer programs, just engineering just radiated through my imagery. And so then what has happened? After pouring in and saying, you can do it, I know you can, even the late night calls and up to 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, her studies, all of that, you got this. She's a systems engineering for a company on the East Coast. She'll be leaving to fly off there. My second daughter, and I'm telling you what no one has told me, I'm telling you what I know. They will live up to our expectations. My second daughter. So she was thinking, I will go into maybe some type of sports management in college. I'll just go ahead and explore that. And then got around a couple of friends who they were thinking on a higher level. Then I embraced that idea. I'm sure her friends poured in, we poured in, and so then she'll be sitting for the MCAT. They will, if we pour in, and I encourage you, I implore you, I beseech you to please pour in, pour in, pour in. Okay, so let's go back to it. So number 1, we want to rethink our hovering practices. Number 2, we want to make sure that we rethink the idea that we're going to be on the forefront of their minds. Let's rethink the idea that we can keep this rigid schedule that we had with them before they left and went off to school. Not the case. Or before they went off to the military, or before they went off towards residential independence. Definitely not the case. And then also, number 4, rethinking the idea that we must continue to just check on them and baby them, and and just believe that something just is not right, and maybe it's not right because we're not there. Let's rethink that. And then 5th and final, let's rethink the idea that we're good when we come back from dropping them off at the college campus, and thinking that everything's perfectly fine, and that there will not be any emptiness within. Yes, there was emptiness within. And I'll share this, and I know many of you already know, we drove those 17 hours to the college campus, left Virginia Tech, came back here to Texas, and I went into my prayer closet with the idea of praying. And I did start off praying. I was just just talking to my sister-in-law about this. I went in praying. I really did. And found myself wailing, thinking, what in the world have I done? We have just dropped our daughter off on the East Coast. We don't know those people on the East Coast. they do not know my daughter. Who are they? What did we just do? And then I found myself going to church the next morning and stopping some of the mothers and tapping them on the shoulder, some of the mothers at the church who are more seasoned than myself, who have had daughters and sons transition out of the home, asking them, listen, you make it look so easy. What was that all about, that whole transitioning out of the home, and how was that for you? And found out that it was a challenge for them as well. It was a challenge. They just made it look so easy. Nobody talks about it, and it just happens, and people go on with their lives. And I told myself, in experiencing that in 2016, I said, I am going to help some other mothers if I do that until my last breath. So when their teens transition out of the home, then they have prepared them, and I see that the automatic lights have gone off, but I'm hopeful that you can still see me, so that they are prepared when that transition takes place, number 1. And then number 2, there's a sense of confidence that my teen is ready. And I'm confident in who I am, and I know what I'm going to do during my empty nesting stages. And my time of loneliness, I will embrace the emotions, but I will still be productive, and that I will have a transition plan. I have put together a whole curriculum to help mothers who are in this situation, and I cannot tell you how excited I am about it. And so this will be, I've rattled off our 5. This will be the remaining in our masterclass. This will be the final, of course, live that I will do for the public, if you will, because all of our videos are, of course, in our private, exclusive Facebook group, Emerging Mothers. If you are, or if you know any mothers who have high school juniors or high school seniors, and then I will be opening up for high school sophomores as well. If you know those folks, tell them to search us up. Tell them to look us up on Facebook. We're there, and they can see additional videos and get additional tips that have been tossed and additional gems that have been dropped. Listen, I appreciate you all. This was day 4 of the Emerging Mothers Evolution Workshop. I'm so excited that all of you were here, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon, especially if you join the Facebook group. Thank you so much. It's Dr. Michelle Lloyd. I support mothers of girls and boys. Take care. Bye.